For many Indiana Hoosiers like myself, the most exotic animals we really ever see are rabid squirrels and a wild turkey if you're lucky. But here today at the Delaware County Fairgrounds, the Muncie Exotic Pet Expo has come to change that. For many high school students, the term Election Day doesn't mean much. Indiana, though, is here to change that with a program called Hoosier Hall Pass. Each year, 1,000 American flags are put up in this garden to honor the lives lost in 9/11, veterans, and fallen heroes. Charlie Cardinal usually has the spotlight at Ball State, but right now, Benny is calling. Last week, Ball State University launched its Call to Beneficence campaign, which includes a goal of over $300 million. The Exotic Pet Expo is a great way to expose yourself to something new. And who knows? You might even walk home with something. To be eligible for next year's election, students must be 16 or 17 years old with written approval from their principals and guardians. Though the Exchange Club of Muncie sponsors this event every single year, it seems to impact the community of Muncie a lot more. The Ball State Foundation feels that philanthropy has played a vital role in creating a thriving university, and because of that, we fly. Take a gander at this. It's no secret that Ball State geese are extremely prominent, but the question is why? Is it the North Pond or the diploma they're after? That's the message that echoed around Ball State's Scramble Light. The Muncie Inn may have just been an overnight stay for some, but to others it was their livelihood and home. However, residents don't necessarily describe their living conditions as ideal. Outside, the air was cold. Inside, hearts were warm, and not just because of the refreshments. The interactive presentation was full of laughs and stories. Hoosier Hall Pass allows 16 and 17-year-olds to work the polls on Election Day to gain experience in voting before they can sign the ballot themselves. Ball State's institutional icon since 1937 has been beneficence, and to this day, it is a prized spirit that the university fosters among faculty and students. It's important to know what to do if one becomes aggressive. It's not something you want to wing. Face the goose and maintain eye contact. Don't quack under pressure. Hosting over 20 vendors bi-monthly, community members can come see a wide array of animals, from 6-inch-long snakes to 6-foot-tall camels. Apart from uninvited critters, one resident said the motel also had issues with water and mold. Despite a biting wind flowing through campus, more than a dozen protesters showed up to share their worries. Glove-covered hands held signs in exchange for the signatures of passing students. It also takes a village to educate the masses on dementia. Session attendees came together to work in their notebooks and learn together. As we fly into spring, goose mating season is already underway, and it's ruffling some feathers of Ball State students. Dementia is an umbrella term that withstands a lot of misconception and stigma. Dementia Friends Indiana is one program that's looking to change that. Led by LifeStream's Caregiver Program Coordinator Tia Drum, the session explained what dementia is, the signs and symptoms of it, how to better communicate, and more. While the session revolved around supporting those living with dementia, Drum also highlighted how supporting the caregivers is equally as important.
You know, we can't have one person that has a whole village around them that cares for them, and then kind of have someone on the outskirts that we're not examining how they feel.
It also takes a village to educate the masses on dementia. Session attendees came together to work in their notebooks and learn together. Outside, the air was cold. Inside, hearts were warm, and not just because of the refreshments. The interactive presentation was full of laughs and stories. Tia Drum had her own story to tell.
With my grandmother in particular, living with her dementia, if she tells me that the sky is purple, I'm going to respond with, and isn't it the most beautiful shade?
If there's one thing Drum wanted the audience to take away from today, it's that you are not alone. Drum capitalized on just how important it is to have a support system, whether you're living with dementia or giving care to a loved one.
You don't have to go through this journey by yourself. And I don't think that this is a journey to be on by yourself either.
The Dementia Friends community is looking to grow by immersing itself in the public and educating more people. To learn more, go to dementiafriends.org. In Muncie, Sophie Schick, Newslink, Indiana. That's the message that echoed around Ball State's Scramble Light. Senate Bill 202 would change the tenure process in Indiana for public universities. Not only that, but public universities would also have to adopt a philosophy surrounding free speech and intellectual diversity. It's a concept that concerns some Ball State protesters who say they're scared for future Cardinals.
Or if I was just starting my first year at Ball State, This changes the whole trajectory of how the culture at Ball State is and how it's run.
On Tuesday, representatives discussed the bill. Those who opposed it noted that the bill's language was concerning. However, they weren't the only ones who felt that way.
The language of the bill is incredibly vague, and it leaves a lot of room for abuse and misinterpretation and misapplication by those in power.
Despite a biting wind flowing through campus, more than a dozen protesters showed up to share their worries. Glove-covered hands held signs in exchange for the signatures of passing students, for one petition that will now go to the Indiana General Assembly in hopes of changing lawmakers' minds.
So I would like to live up to that goal and value of inclusive excellence, and this bill kind of destroys that.
One Hope leader says that they have more petitions and protests underway in the near future. In Muncie, Sophie Schick, Newslink, Indiana. Take a gander at this. It's no secret that Ball State geese are extremely prominent, but the question is why? Is it the North Pond or the diploma they're after? I spoke with Professor of Biology Tim Carter to learn more.
They like areas with very short grass that they can feed on, as well as having some water nearby in areas where there's not a lot of predators, and these urban landscapes just make for absolutely perfect goose habitat.
As we fly into spring, goose mating season is already underway, and it's ruffling some feathers of Ball State students.
They're really mean, and sometimes I'll just walk past them and not even agitate them. I will emphasize that I do not do anything. I just walk past them and then they start honking at you.
Because geese get so defensive during mating season, it's important to know what to do if one becomes aggressive. It's not something you want to wing. Face the goose and maintain eye contact. Don't quack under pressure. Slowly sidestep and back away. The goose should back off and return to its nest. Once you settle your differences, you can actually become friends. Or at least you can try. They told me to talk to the tail. But every year, dozens of Ball State geese are born nameless, flocking around campus in search of their identities. On the Ball State website, you can name your own campus goose for $19.18. While we may never totally settle our differences, we know they're here to stay. Friends or foes, life goose on. In Muncie, Sophie Schick, Newslink, Indiana.